Content News Wikipedia News Edition, Season 1 Remastered.
On 13th episode is Michelin.
Compagnie Générale d'Établissements Michelin SCA, General Company of the Michelin Enterprises P.L.S, commonly referred to as Michelin, is a French multinational tire manufacturing company based in Clermont-Ferrand in the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region of France.
It is the second largest tire manufacturer in the world behind Bridgestone and larger than both Goodyear and Continental.
In addition to the Michelin brand, it also owns the Kléber Tire Company, Uniroyal-Goodrich Tire Company, SASCAR, Bookatable and Camso brands.
Michelin is also notable for its red and green travel guides, its road maps, the Michelin stars at the Red Guide Awards to restaurants for their cooking, and for its company mascot Bibendum, colloquially known as the Michelin Man, who is a humanoid consisting of tires.
Michelin's numerous inventions include the removable tire, the Uniroyal, a tire for rubber-tired metros, and a radial tire.
Michelin manufactures tires for space shuttles, aircraft, automobiles, heavy equipment, motorcycles, and bicycles.
In 2012, the group produced 166 million tires at 69 facilities located in 18 countries. Here's the video of demonstration of a Michelin car train with rubber tires in the Netherlands in 1932. In 1889, two brothers, Edward Michelin, 1859 to 1940, and André Michelin, 1853 to 1931, ran a farm implement business in Clermont-Ferrand, France.
One day, a cyclist whose pneumatic tire needed repair turned up at the factory.
The tire was glued to the rim, and it took over 3 hours to remove and repair the tire, which then needed to be left overnight to dry.
The next day, Edward Michelin took the repaired bicycle into the factory yard to test.
After only a few hundred meters, the tire failed.
Despite the setback, Edward was enthusiastic about the pneumatic tire, and he and his brother worked on creating their own version, one that did not need to be glued to the rim.
Michelin was incorporated on 28 May 1889.
In 1891, Michelin took out its first patent for a removable pneumatic tire, which was used by Charles Terre to win the world's first long-distance cycle race, the 1891 Paris-Brest Paris.
In the 1920s and 1930s, Michelin operated large rubber plantations in Vietnam.
Conditions at these plantations led to the famous labor movement Fury Do.
In 1934, Michelin introduced a tire which, if punctured, would run on a special foam lining, a design now known as a run-flat tire, self-supporting type. Michelin developed and patented a key innovation in tire history, the 1946 radial tire, and successfully exploited this technological innovation to become one of the world's leading tire manufacturers.
The radial was initially marketed as the X tire.
It was developed with a front-wheel drive Citroën traction Avant and Citroën 2CV in mind.
Whoa!
Michelin had bought the then bankrupt Citroën in the 1930s.
Because of its superiority in handling and fuel economy, use of this tire quickly spread throughout Europe and Asia.
In the US, the outdated highest-ply tire persisted, with a market share of 87% in 1967.
In 1966, Michelin partnered with Sears to produce radial tires under the Allstate brand and was selling 1 million units annually by 1970. In 1968, Michelin opened its first North American sales office and was able to grow that market for its products rapidly. By 1989, the company had a 10% market share for OEM tires, purchased by American automobile makers. Also in 1968, Consumer Reports, an influential American magazine, acknowledged the superiority of the radial construction, setting off a rapid decline in Michelin's competitor technology.
In the US, the radial tire now has a market share of 100%.
In addition to the private label and replacement tire market, Michelin scored an early OEM tire win in North America when it received a contract for the 1970 Continental Mark III, the first American car with radial tires fitted as standard. In 1989, Michelin acquired the recently merged tire and rubber manufacturing divisions of the American firms Goodyear-Goodrich Company, founded in 1870. And Uniroyal Incorporated, founded in 1892 as the United States Rubber Company, from Clayton, Goodyear and Rice.
Uniroyal Australia had already been bought by Bridgestone in 1980.
This purchase included the Norwood, North Carolina manufacturing plant which supplied tires to the U.S. Space Shuttle program. Also in 1989, Michelin created Michelin Akamoto Tire Corporation, a joint venture with Japanese rubber/condom manufacturer Akamoto Industries.
In Japan, MOTC marketed Michelin, B.F. Goodrich, and Akamoto's Riken brand, which Michelin still markets today as a budget performance tire brand.
In 1994, they launched the Green X line of fuel-saving tires, a line of studdless winter tires, the Maxi Glace, a version of the XM Plus S100 for the Japanese market. WH rebranded XM Plus S Alpine and the Maxi Ice, as well as a high-performance tire, the GTX Virage, which was also marketed as the MXF Sport in some countries.
The joint venture was later terminated in 2000, with Michelin buying all of Akamoto's shares.
In 1992, Michelin unveiled the Green Tire, a tire featuring Green X technology, advertised as saving fuel, lowering rolling resistance, and reducing emissions, in that year's Paris Motor Show with the MXN, a variant of their MXT tire.
It was released in 1994, marketed as the Energy in Europe and the rest of the world, and as the Green X in Japan.
In Europe, the Energy launched with the Energy MXT, a fuel-saving version of their regular MXT tire, and the Energy MX V3 for luxury cars.
In 1997, the Energy MX V4, a slightly sportier but still luxury tire, was added to the lineup.
In Japan, the Green X line began with the MX GS in 1994.
The line later consisted of the MX GS, MXT Green, released in 1996, MX V3 Green, released in 1997. MXV4 Green, also released in 1997. MXE Green, a successor to the MXT, released in 1998. And the MXK Green for key cars, released in 1999.
In the early 2000s, the series was unified globally as the Energy and is still sold today as the Energy Saver line. As of 1 September 2008, Michelin is again the world's largest tire manufacturer after spending 2 years as number 2 behind Bridgestone.
Michelin produces tires in France, Serbia, Poland, Spain, Germany, the US, the UK, Canada, Brazil, Thailand, Japan, India, Italy, and several other countries.
On 15 January 2010, Michelin announced the closing of its Soda, Japan plant, which employs 380 workers and makes the Michelin X-Ice tire.
Production of the X-Ice will be moved to Europe, North America, and elsewhere in Asia.
In 2019, Michelin announced that plants in Germany and France are to be closed soon. Michelin also controls 90% of Taurus Tire in Hungary, as well as Cormoran, a Polish brand. In December 2018, Michelin acquired Camso, a manufacturer of off-the-road tires, tracks, and accessories for power sports, agriculture, material handling, and construction markets. On 22 January 2019, it was announced that Michelin had acquired Indonesian manufacturer Multistrada Arasarana, which produces Achilles radial and Corsa tires.
On 19 June that year, Michelin owns 99.64% of the share capital of Multistrada.
Michelin participated in MotoGP from 1972 to 2008.
They introduced radial construction to MotoGP in 1984 and multi-compound tires in 1994.
They achieved 360 victories in 36 years, and from 1993 to 2006, the World Championship had gone to a rider on Michelin's. In 2007, Casey Stoner on Bridgestone tires won the World Championship in dominating fashion, and Valentino Rossi and other top riders complained that Michelin's were inferior.
Rossi wanted Bridgestones for the 2008 season, but Bridgestone was reluctant to provide them. Dorna threatened to impose a control tire on the series, after which Bridgestone relented.
In 2008, Michelin committed errors of judgment in allocating adequate tires for some of the race weekends.
Johnny Pedrosa's team switched to Bridgestones in mid-season, a highly unusual move that caused friction between Honda Racing Corporation and their sponsor Repsol YPF.
Other riders also expressed concerns and it seemed that Michelin might not have any factory riders for the 2009 season, leading to rumors that Michelin would withdraw from the series altogether.
Dorna and the FIM announced that a control tire would be imposed on MotoGP for the 2009 season, and Michelin did not enter a bid, effectively ending its participation in the series at the end of 2008.
Michelin returned to MotoGP in 2016 as the official tire supplier after Bridgestone's withdrawal from the series at the end of 2015. Michelin first competed in the 1977 Formula One season when Renault started the development of their turbo-charged F1 car.
Michelin introduced radial tire technology to Formula One and won the Formula One Drivers' Championship with Brabham and McLaren, before withdrawing at the end of 1984.
The company returned to Formula One in 2001, supplying the Williams, Jaguar, Benetton, renamed Renault in 2002, Prost and Minardi teams.
Toyota joined F1 in 2002 with Michelin tires, and McLaren also signed up with a company.
Michelin tires were initially uncompetitive, but by the 2005 season were dominant.
This was partly because the new regulations stated that tires must last the whole race distance and qualifying, and partly because only one top team, Ferrari, was running Bridgestones and so had to do much of the development work.
Michelin, in contrast, had much more testing and race data provided by the larger number of teams running their tires. Following the debacle of the 2005 United States Grand Prix where, because of safety concerns, Michelin would not allow the teams it supplied to race, Michelin's share price fell by 2.5%, though it recovered later the same day.
On 28 June, Michelin announced that it would offer compensation to all race fans who had bought tickets for the Grand Prix.
The company committed to refunding the price of all tickets for the race.
Additionally, it announced that it would provide 20,000 complimentary tickets for the 2006 race to spectators who had attended the 2005 event.
Michelin has had a difficult relationship with the sports governing body, the FIA, since around 2003, and this escalated to apparent disdain between the two parties during the 2005 season.
The most high-profile disagreement was at the United States Grand Prix and the acrimony afterwards.
Michelin criticized the FIA's intention to move to a single source, that is, one brand, tyre, from 2008 and threatened to withdraw from the sport.
In a public rebuke, FIA President Max Mosley wrote, "There are simple arguments for a single tire, and if Michelin boss Edward Michelin is not aware of this, he shows an almost comical lack of knowledge of modern Formula One."
Another bone of contention has been the reintroduction of tire changes during pit stops from 2006.
Michelin criticized the move, claiming this event illustrates F1's problems of incoherent decision-making and lack of transparency.
In December 2005, and as a result of the difficult relationship with the sports governing body, Michelin announced that it would not extend its involvement in Formula One beyond the 2006 season.
Bridgestone was then the sole supplier of tires to Formula One until the end of the 2010 season, with Pirelli providing tires for 2011.
The last race won on Michelin tires in Formula One was the 2006 Japanese Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso benefited after the Ferrari engine of Michael Schumacher failed during the race.
This gave Michelin a second consecutive Constructors' Championship win with a 2005 and 2006 after Bridgestone's 7-year winning streak, and brought to a total of 4 the number of titles for Michelin since this championship's inception back in the 1958 Formula One season. Michelin's other titles were in the 1979 and 1984 seasons.
Michelin is involved in endurance races such as the 24 Hours of Le Mans and the American Le Mans Series.
Involvement in Le Mans began with supplying tires for the winner of the inaugural 1923 24 Hours of Le Mans as well as 9 others of the 33 entrants.
In 2009, Michelin supplied tires for 41 of the 55 cars that entered in Le Mans.
In 2016, they provided tires to the Audi, Porsche and Toyota LMP1 teams, as well as the AF Corse, BMW, Corvette, Ford and SE. Porsche Resi teams in GTE Pro/GTLM.
Beginning in 2019, Michelin will replace Continental as the official tire of the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship.
Along with supplying tires for IMSA's top 3 series, the partnership includes naming rights for the Sports Car Challenge Series and the North American Endurance Cup.
Michelin has also supplied tires in the European Le Mans Series.
They have been the exclusive supplier of the LMP3 class since 2015.
In the World Rally Championship, Michelin has been the supplier of the Audi, Citroën, Ford, Lancia, Mitsubishi, Peugeot, Toyota and Volkswagen factory teams.
Michelin Group brand Goodrich represented the brand in 2006 and 2007.
The company was absent from 2008 to 2010 when Pirelli was signed as the official supplier. After which they returned to the series as an official supplier from 2011 to 2020 until Pirelli won the tender to once again become an official supplier from 2021 onwards. Recent developments. Tax system.
Wheel.
S1.
Agree.
Advanced technology.
Michelin employs specific tread construction that uses spiral wrapped nylon strips.
The strips are applied in the tread area above steel belts in order to oppose centrifugal force in order to avoid tire distortion at high speeds.
Evergrip technology.
This is a patented safety technology that allows combining tread groove design.
This way, it does not just wear down, but evolves due to high traction tread compound, which makes driving safer on snowy and wet roads.
And zero pressure technology means a reinforced sidewall that is designed to continue supporting the vehicle's weight, even when air pressure is lost.
The technology allows driving at speeds between 50 and 55 miles per hour for some time.
Active wheel from Michelin includes in-wheel electric motors and a motorized suspension to free up space in the front or rear of the vehicle.
This model also eliminates the need for other notorious space hogs like transmissions and exhaust systems.
The wheels already have a vehicle ready to receive them. The UEs will from Opel and are also expected to come standard on the Venturi Volage sometime in 2012.
The project was interrupted in 2014.
Active Wheel was a Michelin-developed tire which incorporates an electric motor and suspension.
It was presented at Challenge Bibendum 2004's edition on the Highlight concept car and showcased during Paris Motor Show. Mondial de l'Automobile in 2008 both on the Venturi Volage electric sports car and on the Uli as well.
The project was interrupted in 2014. Like other in-wheel motors, the active wheel design provides direct power delivery of approximately 30 kilowatts, 40 horsepower, as well as regenerative braking.
In addition, it replaces a mechanical suspension with an active suspension, driven by an in-wheel electrical suspension motor that controls torque distribution, traction, turning maneuvers, pitch, roll and suspension damping for that wheel.
However, the effects of shocks, water and snow to such an in-wheel design have not been precisely studied. Siemens VDO, developing a similar concept, called E-Corner, was purchased by Continental in 2007. Michelin operates tire retail and distribution in Europe under Euromaster and Black Circles brands, and in the US with its wholly owned subsidiary TCI Tire Centers.
TCI Tire Centers was folded into NTW when Michelin partnered with Sumitomo to form the entity.
The company also manages its own e-commerce store, MichelinMan.com. Michelin has published 2 guidebook series, the Red Guides for hotels and restaurants, and the Green Guides for tourism.
It now publishes several additional guides, as well as digital maps and guide products.
The city maps, in both the red and the green guides, are of high quality and are linked to the smaller scale road maps. The Michelin Guides are a series of guidebooks that have been published by the French tire company Michelin since 1900.
The guide awards up to 3 Michelin stars for excellence to a select few restaurants in certain geographic areas.
Michelin also publishes the Green Guides, a series of general guides to cities, regions, and countries. In 1900, there were fewer than 3,000 cars on the roads of France.
To increase the demand for cars, and accordingly car tires, the car tire manufacturers and brothers Edouard and André Michelin published a guide for French motorists. The Guide Michelin Guide.
Nearly 35,000 copies of this first, free edition were distributed.
It provided information to motorists such as maps, tire repair and replacement instructions, car mechanics listings, hotels, and petrol stations throughout France.
In 1904, the brothers published a guide for Belgium and then for Algeria and Tunisia. 1907, the Alps and the Rhine, Northern Italy, Switzerland, Bavaria, and the Netherlands. 1908, Germany, Spain, and Portugal. 1910, the British Isles. 1911, and the countries of the Sun, Les Pays du Salieu, Northern Africa, Southern Italy, and Corsica. 1911.
In 1909, an English-language version of the Guide to France was published.
During World War I, publication of the guide was suspended.
After the war, revised editions of the guide continued to be given away until 1920.
It is said that André Michelin, while visiting a tire merchant, noticed copies of the guide being used to prop up a workbench.
Based on the principle that man only truly respects what he pays for, Michelin decided to charge for the guide about 7.50 francs or US $2.15 in 1922.
They also made several changes, notably listing restaurants by specific categories, adding hotel listings, initially only for tourists, and removing advertisements.
Recognizing the growing popularity of the restaurant section, the brothers recruited a team of anonymous inspectors to visit and review restaurants.
Following the usage of the Maurice and Baedeker guides, the guide began to award stars for restaurants in 1926.
Initially, there was only a single star awarded.
Then, in 1931, the hierarchy of 0, 1, 2, and 3 stars was introduced.
Finally, in 1936, the criteria for the rankings were published.
1 star, a very good restaurant in its category, une très bonne table dans sa catégorie.
2 stars, excellent cooking, worth a detour, table excellente, mérite un détour.
And 3 stars, exceptional cuisine, worth a special journey, une de Miller's tables, vaut la voyage. In 1931, the cover was changed from blue to red and has remained so in all subsequent editions.
During World War II, publication was again suspended.
In 1944, at the request of the Allied forces, the 1939 Guide to France was specially reprinted for military use. Its maps were judged the best and most up-to-date available.
Publication of the annual guide resumed on 16 May 1945, a week after VE Day.
In the early post-war years, the lingering effects of wartime shortages led Michelin to impose an upper limit of 2 stars. By 1950, the French edition listed 38 establishments judged to meet this standard.
The first Michelin guide for Italy was published in 1956.
It awarded no stars in the first edition.
In 1974, the first guide to Britain since 1931 was published.
25 stars were awarded. In 2005, Michelin published its first American guide, covering 500 restaurants in the 5 boroughs of New York City and 50 hotels in Manhattan.
Whoa!
In 2007, a Tokyo guide was launched.
In the same year, the guide introduced a magazine, Etoile.
In 2008, a Hong Kong and Macau volume was added.
As of 2013, the guide is published in 14 editions covering 23 countries. In 2008, the German restorateur Julian Casper was appointed the first woman and first non-French national editor-in-chief of the French edition of the guide.
She had previously been responsible for the Michelin guides to Germany, Switzerland, and Austria.
The German newspaper Die Welt commented on the appointment. In view of the fact German cuisine is regarded as a lethal weapon in most parts of France, this decision is like Mercedes announcing that its new director of product development is a Martian. The Korea Tourism Organization commissioned Michelin to include South Korea in its 2016 edition at a cost of 3.2 billion won, over $1 million. But government officials were unhappy with resulting inaccuracies such as typos, translation errors, and description errors regarding seating options.
In 2017, the Tourism Authority of Thailand agreed to pay 144 million Thai baht, $4.4 million, over 5 years for the inclusion of their country.
In 2022, the guide expanded to Canada, with guides covering Toronto and Vancouver in return for undisclosed payments from each city's local chapter of Destination Canada. The guide announced its first list of restaurants in the U.S. state of Florida on 9 June 2022, after the state and city tourism boards in Miami, Orlando, and Tampa agreed to collectively pay the company up to $1.5 million.
The guide awarded a single 2-star ranking and 14 1-star rankings, and 29 departments.
In late 2022, the guide expanded to Vietnam, Malaysia, Estonia, and the United Arab Emirates in return for undisclosed payments. In February 2023, the Israeli Tourism Ministry announced a bid to bring the Michelin Guide to their country in return for a payment of 1.5 million euros. In 2023, the guide expanded to several cities in Colorado, Aspen, Beaver Creek Resort, Boulder, Denver, Snowmass Village, and Vail that paid between $70,000 and $100,000. On top of a state contribution, other cities, Aurora, Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, and Grand Junction, declined to participate.
In September 2023, the Michelin Guide also expanded to Atlanta in return for a payment of $1 million over 3 years.
In the early 2020s, Michelin began requiring certain countries, which had previously received reviews, to pay for continued coverage.
Hungary, Slovenia, and the Czech Republic agreed to do so.
In 2025, the guide plans to expand to the southeastern United States, called the American South Edition, which includes Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee.
The edition will include the Atlanta guide.
A few months later, on May 12, 2025, Michelin announced plans to expand the guide to Boston and Philadelphia, with restaurant selections to be revealed later in the year.
The press release stated that these would be included in the newly minted Michelin Guide Northeast Cities edition, which would also include the already rated cities of Chicago, New York City, and Washington, D.C.
Tourism Board Meet Boston reportedly paid over $1 million for 3 years of coverage, sourced from hotel surcharges in Boston and neighboring Cambridge, Massachusetts. The guide will expand to the Philippines in 2026, covering the Greater Manila area and Cebu. The Michelin Guide ended printed copies in 2021.
After 121 years, Michelin transitioned to digital publication and released a proprietary app.
This allowed Michelin to distribute the guide to a larger audience at no charge.
However, as of 2024, a handful of popular regions, France, Italy, Japan, and Spain, remain in printed publication.
Red guides have historically listed many more restaurants than rival guides, relying on an extensive system of symbols to describe each one in as little as 2 lines.
Reviews of starred restaurants also include 2 to 3 culinary specialties.
Short summaries, 2 to 3 lines, were added in 2002/2003 to enhance descriptions of many establishments.
These summaries are written in the language of the country for which the guide is published, though the Spain and Portugal volume is in Spanish only, but the symbols are the same throughout all editions.
Michelin inspectors, reviewers, visit restaurants anonymously, and they award 1, 2, or 3 stars for those considered at least very good. 1 star, high quality cooking, worth a stop, cuisine de toilette, meridian halt.
2 stars, excellent cooking, worth a detour, cuisine excellente, mere un detour.
And 3 stars, exceptional cuisine, worth a special journey, Bibendum Miller's Cuisines, votre voyage. Inspectors' meals and expenses are paid for by Michelin, never by a restaurant being reviewed.
Michelin has gone to extraordinary lengths to maintain the anonymity of its inspectors. Many of the company's top executives have never met an inspector. Inspectors themselves are advised not to disclose their line of work, even to their parents, who might be tempted to boast about it. And, in all the years that it has been putting out the guide, Michelin has refused to allow its inspectors to speak to journalists. The inspectors write reports that are distilled in annual stars meetings at the guide's various national offices into the ranking of 3 stars, 2 stars, or 1 star, or no stars. Establishments that Michelin deems unworthy of a visit are not included in the guide.
The French chef Paul Bocuse, one of the pioneers of Nouvelle Cuisine in the 1960s, said, "Michelin is the only guide that counts."
In France, when the guide is published each year, it sparks a media frenzy, which has been compared to that for annual Academy Awards for films.
Media and others debate likely winners, speculation is rife, and TV and newspapers discuss which restaurant might lose and which might gain a Michelin star. The Michelin Guide also awards rising stars, an indication that a restaurant has the potential to qualify for a star or an additional star. In 2020, the Michelin Guide launched a sustainability emblem to symbolize excellence in sustainable gastronomy.
An establishment awarded this green star is given space on the guide's website for the chef to describe the restaurant's vision.
A green star can be held concurrently with other designations awarded by Michelin, including standard Michelin stars, a good gourmand, or being on the recommended list. Since 1997, the guide has also highlighted restaurants offering exceptionally good food at moderate prices, a feature now called Good Gourmand.
They must offer a combination of menu items priced below a maximum determined by local economic standards.
For example, in Canada, a Good Gourmand restaurant must be able to offer a 2-course meal and either dessert or a glass of wine for less than $60 per person.
Bibendum is the company's nickname for the Michelin Man, its corporate logo, for over a century.
Like Michelin stars, a restaurant can gain or lose a Good Gourmand designation at Michelin's annual award ceremony for the region where it operates. In exceptional circumstances, Good Gourmand designated restaurants have gone on to receive a Michelin star in later years.
Most notable is Chicago restaurant and bakery Kazama, which earned the star in 2022 after receiving a Good Gourmand the year prior.
In 2016, a new symbol, the plate, was added to recognize restaurants that simply serve good food.
As of 2022, Michelin has dropped the use of the plate for this designation and instead have titled this tier Selected Restaurants.
Michelin began awarding keys to hotels starting in 2024.
Michelin states that the key award will be given after stays conducted anonymously by Michelin Guide selection teams use 5 criteria. Excellence in architecture and interior design, quality and consistency of service, overall personality and character, value for the price, and the significant contribution to the neighborhood or setting.
The Michelin Guide selection recommends over 6,000 hotels across the world. In 2014, Michelin introduced a separate listing for gastropubs in Ireland.
In 2016, the Michelin Guide for Hong Kong and Macau introduced an overview of notable street food establishments.
In the same year, the Singapore Guide introduced the first Michelin stars for street food locations for Hong Kong soya sauce chicken rice and noodle and Hill Street Taiwan pork noodle. All listed restaurants, regardless of their star, Good Gourmand, or plate status, also receive a fork and spoon designation as a subjective reflection of the overall comfort and quality of the restaurant.
Rankings range from 1 to 5. 1 fork and spoon represents a comfortable restaurant, and 5 signifies a luxurious restaurant.
Forks and spoons, colored red designate a restaurant that is considered pleasant as well. Restaurants, independently of their other ratings in the guide, can also receive a number of other symbols next to their listing. Coins indicate restaurants that serve a menu for a certain price or less, depending on the local monetary standard.
In 2010 France, 2011 US and Japan red guides, the maximum permitted coin prices were €19, $25, and 5,000 yen, respectively. Interesting view or magnificent view, designated by a black or red symbol, are given to restaurants offering those features.
And grapes, a shake set, or a cocktail glass indicate restaurants that offer, at minimum, a somewhat interesting selection of wines, shake, or cocktails, respectively. The Michelin Green Guides review and rate attractions other than restaurants.
There is a green guide for France as a whole, and a more detailed one for each of 10 regions within France.
Other green guides cover many countries, regions, and cities outside France.
Many green guides are published in several languages.
They include background information and an alphabetical section describing points of interest.
Like the red guides, they use a 3-star system for recommending sites ranging from worth a trip to worth a detour and interesting.
Pascal Remy, a veteran France-based Michelin inspector and also a former Goodyear employee, wrote a tell-all book, L'inspecteur se met à table, The Inspector Sits Down at the Table, published in 2004.
Remy's employment was terminated in December 2003 when he informed Michelin of his plans to publish his book.
He brought a court case for unfair dismissal, which was unsuccessful. Remy described the French Michelin inspector's life as lonely, underpaid drudgery, driving around France for weeks on end, dining alone, under intense pressure to file detailed reports to strict deadlines.
He maintained that the guide had become lax in its standards.
Though Michelin states that its inspectors visited all 4,000 reviewed restaurants in France every 18 months and all starred restaurants several times a year, Remy said only about one visit every 3.5 more years was possible because there were only 11 inspectors in France when he was hired, rather than the 50 or more hinted by Michelin.
That number, he said, had shrunk to 5 by the time he was fired in December 2003.
Remy also accused the guide of favoritism.
He alleged that Michelin treated famous and influential chefs, such as Paul Bocuse and Alain Ducasse, as untouchable and not subject to the same rigorous standards as lesser-known chefs.
Michelin denied Remy's charges, but refused to say how many inspectors it actually employed in France.
In response to Remy's statement that certain 3-star chefs were sacrosanct, Michelin said, "There would be little sense in saying a restaurant was worth 3 stars if it weren't true, if for no other reason than that the customer would write and tell us."
Some non-French food critics have alleged that the rating system is biased in favor of French cuisine or French dining standards.
British newspaper The Guardian commented in 1997 that some people maintain the guide's principal purpose is as a tool of Gallic cultural imperialism.
When Michelin published its first New York City Red Guide in 2005, Stephen Furich of the New York Times noted that Danny Meyer's Union Square Cafe, a restaurant rated highly by the New York Times, Zagat Survey, and other prominent guides, received a no-star rating from Michelin. He did, however, acknowledge that the restaurant received positive mention for its ambience, and that 2 other restaurants owned by Meyer received stars.
Furich also said the guide appeared to favor restaurants that emphasized formality and presentation rather than a casual approach to fine dining.
He said over half of the restaurants that received 1 or 2 stars could be considered French.
The Michelin Guide New York 2007 included 526 restaurants, compared to 2014 in Zagat New York 2007. After the Four Seasons restaurant received no stars in that edition, co-owner Julien Nicolini said Michelin should stay in France and they should keep their guide there.
In 2007, Tokyo's restaurants were awarded with the most stars, and in 2010 other Japanese cities like Kyoto and Osaka also received many stars.
At the time, this sparked questions from some over whether these high ratings were merited for Japanese restaurants, or whether the Michelin Guide was too generous in giving out stars to gain an acceptance with Japanese customers and to enable the tire-selling parent company to market itself in Japan.
Some argue that the discrepancy is explained by the difference in total restaurants in each city. Tokyo has 160,000 restaurants, while Paris, for example, has just 40,000.
The Wall Street Journal reported in 2010 that some Japanese chefs were surprised at receiving a star and were reluctant to accept one because of the publicity. It caused an unmanageable jump in bookings, affecting their ability to serve their traditional customers without compromising on lowering the quality of their dishes.
Some restaurateurs have asked Michelin to revoke a star because they felt that it created undesirable customer expectations or pressure to spend more on service and decor.
Notable cases include
Chef Julio Fontanars dels Alforins, Spain. After receiving a star for a perfume cuisine in 2009, the restaurant chef Julio Vallasca felt the award was granted to dishes that he did not like and which restricted his creativity.
He tried to remove his star, and in December 2013 he discontinued his tasting menu.
The removal took place in the 2015 guide.
To Tertium Nurseries Cafe, London, after receiving a star in 2011, founder and chef Sky Gensel received complaints from customers expecting formal dining, leading to her attempt to remove the star and her subsequent retirement from the restaurant.
She has since said she regrets her remarks and would welcome a star. T.Us van Liede, Belgium. After receiving a star in 2014, Chef Frederick Hughes said he did not want his Michelin star or his points in the Go Millau restaurant guide because we noticed that this is not always understood by a group of customers that expect the spectacle of stars and points kitchen from a Michelin-starred restaurant rather than simple food.
Hughes complained about expectations for decor and originality. The customers expect a parade of appetizers when the gastronomic menu starts in a setting that, according to them, also deserves 1 star. Take a shrimp croquette. People expect the star chef to give his own interpretation of that dish. I just want to make a really good shrimp croquette. And Marco Pierre White, the first British chef to be awarded 3 Michelin stars, quit his restaurant and returned his stars in 1999, citing the pressure of maintaining them and the resulting monotony and questioning the competence of the inspectors who granted them.
The pressure to retain Michelin stars can be immense, as the loss of a star will almost inevitably have a significant impact on business.
It is widely believed that Chef Bernard Loiseau committed suicide in 2003 after hearing the rumor that his 3-star restaurant, Le Côte d'Or, would be demoted to 2 stars.
In 2017, the Voucher Oriel Café in Verges, France, was accidentally given a star when it was confused with a restaurant of the same name in Baudervilliers, near Paris. In the 21st century, some American chefs, restaurant owners, and officials interviewed by the New York Times criticized the guide for creating a type of sameness, rewarding expensive fine dining attributes, luxury ingredients, expensive tableware, matching uniforms, many course menus, small bites, and meticulously arranged plating.
High-quality fine dining in Western countries is labor-intensive, putting pressure on line chef wages.
Because of their high status, Michelin-starred fine dining restaurants often rely on staging, a form of unpaid internship.
At the three-star restaurant Noma, chef owner René Redzepi yielded to public pressure in 2022 and began paying interns.
After 3 months, Redzepi announced the restaurant was no longer financially sustainable and that the concept would close at the end of 2024.
The power imbalance between chef owners and staff has also resulted in workers at some fine dining restaurants producing intricate dishes complaining of very long hours. Difficulty affording food, physical and sexual abuse, refusal of permission to treat injuries at a hospital, and destruction of workers' personal property.
Most chefs interviewed by the New York Times said the increase in business and job applicants that comes with the publicity around a Michelin star makes it worth seeking.
Many also said the competition for stars improves restaurant quality.
Michelin publishes a variety of roadmaps, mostly of France but also of other European countries in Africa, Thailand and the United States.
They have recently embarked on e-commerce selling Michelin maps and guides directly to the public through, for example, their UK website.
The Michelin roadmaps were reproduced in England for the Allied invasion during World War II.
In 1940, the Germans also reproduced the 1938 edition of Michelin maps for the invasion.
Via Michelin is a wholly owned subsidiary of Michelin Group and was started in 2001 to represent Michelin's digital mapping services.
As of August 2008, Via Michelin generates 400 million maps and routes per month on its main website.
Via Michelin provides mapping for internet, mobile and satellite navigation products with street-level coverage of Europe, USA, Australia, and parts of Asia and South America. Via Michelin is a travel website that allows road users in Europe to design and plan upcoming trips. Via Michelin was launched in 2001.
At that time, Michelin had been publishing maps and guides for a century.
Via Michelin provides services designed for both the general public and businesses.
Via Michelin provides several services, maps, route plans, hotel and restaurant listings, traffic and tourist information, etc. Across media including the internet, mobile phones, personal digital assistants, PDAs, and GPS navigation systems.
Via Michelin has operations in London, Frankfurt, Madrid, Milan, and Paris. Via Michelin bought Curio in 2005.
In January 2008, it was reported that Via Michelin had 170 employees, of whom 60 were about to be laid off.
The Via Michelin website provides mapping coverage for 187 billion kilometers as of 2017 of roads and streets across more than 42 European countries. Via Michelin offers its services in multiple languages and reports more than 400 million visitors per year to its website.
Users can access a database of Michelin guide content, which provides recommendations and ratings for over 62,000 restaurants and hotels, as well as 18,000 tourist sites.
The website offers additional travel services such as real-time traffic information, weather, online car rental booking, and a regularly updated database of speed camera locations that can be downloaded for free.
An online store is available that offers electronic updates for the Michelin Guide, GPS accessories, and navigation-related software, CD-ROMs, SD cards, etc. That is compatible with third-party GPS devices and PDAs.
Furthermore, Via Michelin Labs is a website used for product testing and improvement, which includes Michelin iPhone-specific maps. In 2009, Graf said the Via Michelin website was rather confusing.
In 2011, Voxel said it was complicated.
The site was described as useful by Bennett in 2010 and Scales in 2013.
In 2004, the site was praised by The Guardian.
Via Michelin mobile services were available in the United Kingdom, O2, France, Voix Telecom, Italy, Wind, Spain, Telefonica, Germany, E+, Holland, Base, and Belgium via the iMode portal.
Users could access services that included automatic routing and travel-related address finder services, such as for hotels, restaurants, and petrol stations.
Via Michelin Mobile stopped offering mobile services at the beginning of 2007. Via Michelin develops navigation software that is specifically designed for PDAs, providing PDA users with direct access to Via Michelin's route calculation and map display services, as well as comprehensive Michelin guide listings. In October 2005, Via Michelin launched its own portable GPS navigation system, which included Michelin Guide content as well as additional location-based information such as shops, petrol stations, service stations, and safety camera locations.
Via Michelin also made its traffic information service available to vehicle manufacturers.
On 11 January 2008, Via Michelin ceased production of its GPS range to focus on its core activities. Via Michelin created the following GPS units. X-930.
The user interface was criticized by Ellison in 2007. X-950T,
X-960.
X-970T,
and X-980T. The Michelin Challenge Bibendum is a major sustainable mobility event. In 1952, 6 years after Michelin patented its radio casing, Michelin adapted the radio technology to truck tires. From 1999, the company was headed by CEO Edward Michelin.
On 26 May 2006, Edward drowned while fishing near the island of Seine off the coast of Brittany.
His death brought Michel Rollier, a second cousin of Edward Michelin, to the head of the company.
Rollier was replaced in May 2012 by Jean-Dominique Senard.
In 2018, Jean-Dominique Senard announced he would not seek re-election at the shareholders' meeting in 2019.
As a result, the shareholders elected Florent Menegaux to succeed Senard starting in 2019.
The company also has its headquarters in Greenville, South Carolina, United States as Michelin North America.
They first manufactured in the city in 1975 before opening up their headquarters a decade later.
Corporate governance consists of 2 managers and an executive committee whose members are Eric Philippe Vinus, Executive Vice President, Research and Development.
Lorraine Frega, Executive Vice President, Distribution, Services and Solutions, Strategy, Innovation and Partnerships.
Yves Chapat, General Manager and Chief Financial Officer.
Adeline Shalom, Executive Vice President, Engagement and Brands.
Jean-Claude Katz, Executive Vice President, Personnel.
Frédéric Duhon, Executive Vice President, Urban and Long Distance Transportation and European Regions.
Pierre-Louis Dubourdeau, Executive Vice President, Manufacturing.
Florent Mendigo, Managing Chairman.
Scott Clark, Executive Vice President, Automotive, Motorsports, Experiences in Americas Regions.
Serge Leffen, Executive Vice President, Specialties in Africa/India/Middle East, China, East Asia and Australia Regions.
And Maud Portigliatti, Executive Vice President, High Tech Materials. That's it for this episode today. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit a like, and please subscribe to this channel and turn on post notifications for more episodes like this one, and we'll see you in next episode.